happened to Scapa? I can honestly remember the 16-year-old disappearing from the shelves. The price went from £50 to £300 a bottle overnight. People lost their minds, and then it all went quiet. The distillery didn't release officials or regular bottlings. You could get some really old single cask stuff, or some younger sort of single cask whiskies in a little 50cl format, which I'm sure were lovely, but were really expensive. And then a rumour, I've no justification to know if this rumour is true or not. I'm sure others can maybe specify, but I heard through a friend of a friend of a friend and all that sort of stuff that Billy Walker wanted to buy Scapa, and he didn't. He bought Glenallachie in the end, another Pernod distillery, and apparently they sort of copied his model. I have no idea if that is true. This is all alleged, but it's stories you hear from other whiskey drinkers. Anyway, the bottle's up here, because here we have the relatively new Scapa 10-year-old. Now, first of all, love the bottle, love the label, love this beautiful kind of wave formation they've got on the top of it. 10 years old, fully matured in ex-American oak, and is bottled at 48% ABV. So far, an absolute winner. Do I know if it's natural colour? I don't. I would assume it is non-chill filtered, given the ABV of it, but upon glancing around this bottle, there is no designation to say whether or not it is, but I can't see why you would chill filter above 48%. Colour-wise, it might not be natural, but Scapa is a very small distillery. It's heavily used in Chivas Regal, Ballantine's, and other associated blended products. Blends still make up a majority of the market, despite the fact single malt is worth more, so Scapa is very much a needed requisite when it comes to blended whiskey, because normally it's delicious, and I would love to try some independently bottled Scapa. I'm yet to do so, but here we have it in the glass. It's beautiful, kind of off gold colour. 48% ABV. As you can see, I've had a good chunk of this, just kind of mulling it over. Got this on a sale for £44. I think it's normally about 53. And I'll be honest, at £44, this is a really nice bottle of whiskey. There's other new products in the range. There's a 16-year-old, which is about £100, and a 21, which I want to say is in and around the 200, if not more mark. But let's smell, let's taste, let's see what's going on. Instantly transported to opening a little tin of like pineapple rings. I don't know what it is they do at Scapa, but it just has this really exotic profile. Obviously the American oak is aiding that as well, but it just smells so alluring and welcoming. It's just that list of tropical fruit. It's pineapple, it's mango, it's guava-y. You get these really soft, like creme caramel, desiccated coconut sort of notes on the aroma. Starburst, or opal fruits, for those of you that remember them as opal fruits. It's kind of soft, square, chewy fruit sweets. There's also a really nice powdered sugar note to it, and when you put the fruit and the powdered sugar together, it reminds me quite a lot of jelly babies, which are these. It's quite weird to explain what a jelly baby is. It's a little fruit sweet in the shape of a baby. They're all different size babies. That's a weird sentence in a whiskey review. And they're covered in this kind of sort of powdery, sugary substance. And yeah, this just smells like opening a packet of jelly babies. As long as you're into that, of course. You might not like them. But yeah, juicy, fresh, approachable, welcoming. 48%. You know, colouring aside, if we find out, if we do, it'll be in the link in the sort of bio box below. But let's taste it. Let's see what's going on. Quite a lot going on the palate. Again, 10-year-old whiskey. I'm just going to talk about the finish first. It is youthful, it is spicy. You don't necessarily taste new make spirit, I wouldn't describe it as that, but you do get this youthful single malt spice, which I quite enjoy, because it's a beautiful contrast to the nose. Some of you might not enjoy that as much. Bit of black pepper, wood spice, citrus and chili. It's kind of got that gentle, warming, well-balanced chili spice to it. Palate-wise, opens up to a whole realm of different things. It starts off with the pineapple, the mango, the coconutty stuff, the caramel, delicious, love it. Then you get a little bit of spice that kind of comes out of nowhere, which makes sense because those are such sweet notes. The first time your tongue gets a hold of that ABV, it's really going to push it through. Then something really interesting happens. It becomes quite herbaceous, and that is a word I do use a lot on this channel. And when it comes to American oak whiskies, I do tend to get a lot of these sort of sagey, rosemary, thymy sort of notes, especially with lighter spirits. But bear with me 1 second, because I know this is a bit of a broken record. It starts off as this sort of sweet sage note. And if you've ever picked sage straight from a sage plant and chewed on it, it has this almost like sativa, is that the right thing? I don't know if it is, but like that kind of replacement sugar sort of flavour to it. But it's natural, and it tastes kind of normal, it doesn't taste synthetic in any way. Then you get this kind of sweet basil note, and I love basil, it's probably my favourite herb, so already I'm sort of sold there. Then you get this kind of big hit of citrus, it's lemony, which makes sense. Sage, basil, lemon, they are flavours that work very well together. And then out of nowhere, and which is weird because I don't drink this stuff a lot, I rarely drink it at all, I'm more of a coffee person, but there's this really nice tea note, and it envelops the dryness of the product before you've actually swallowed it. You get this nice delicate dryness, it's like black tea, almost like a peach sort of tea, or like a mint tea. Sweet, refreshing, quite dry. And I must say, in this entire time I've been talking to you, which is about a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes, I can still taste this whiskey. And it pushes more with that dryness, which again I think is quite interesting. It's from Orkney, it's an island, you've got that seafaring quality to it. I wouldn't describe this as salty, it's certainly dry, but it doesn't run in the way of savoury. Even now it's sage, it's basil, like cooking herbs, like, you know, just really fragrant floral herbs that you throw into soups and things. It's really, really tasty. And like I say, for around the £50 mark, yeah. It's certainly making a statement, but I love this. It's really dark outside and the blinds are down, so it seems quite dark in this room, well, minus that light. But I feel so comfortable drinking this. It's really fitting my mood. That contrast of oaky, spicy, chili flake, lemon, herbaceousness versus the wallop of fruit that you get on the nose of this thing, I think is absolutely delightful. I'm so happy to welcome Scapa back to the fold because it has honestly been missed. When I worked in retail, you'd have like people coming in every month being like, do you have any Scapa? I'd be like, no, sorry. But now you can get it. And yeah, it's not as old as the original one, it's younger. In fact, Scapa originally might be one of the only distilleries who, back in the day, did a 12-year-old, got rid of it, released a 14, got rid of it, released a 16, became so popular, and then they cut that as well. But now we have a 10. If you do want a 16, it will cost you pretty much £100, which sadly in the grand scheme of whiskies is kind of normal, £80 to £100. But this is really, really tasty. Solid 8.5 out of 10. Something which, when it finishes, I will probably replace quite quickly, even if it's not on sale. But yeah, have you guys tried this yet? Let me know if you have, because this is honestly one of the most impressive young whiskies I've tried this year, and it goes to show that big companies like Pernod, who yeah, don't own as much as Diageo, let's say, but people want these products, people want these more obscure things that you have in the line, and in the grand scheme of what your companies earn, it wouldn't cost a lot to put this on a shelf, and indeed it hasn't. But thank you all for watching. That's the new Scapa 10-year-old. That is an 8.5 out of 10, and I will see you all next week. Cheers.